It's highly complex, and it's completely over my head. The man's clearly at the wrong place, but we're going to see what we can do. Our next guest is the former president of the Maldives. Anybody here from the Maldives? Oh yeah, the horn section. Sure. Yeah. The former president of the Maldives, and is featured in a new documentary film entitled The Island President. It opened in New York today, and you can see it across the country beginning tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mohamed Nasheed, everyone. Welcome to our show. Welcome to New York City. Welcome to the United States. You've been here many times. How many times have you been here?
Actually, I've only been here twice.
This is your second time?
This is my second time.
And what is your impression of New York City? I mean, you've traveled the world, but what do you think of New York?
I think it's a lovely city, nice people, good shopping, and of course a very excellent show.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Let's get some facts taken care of. Tell us where the Maldives are, and then we'll show it on the map here. How would we find them? They're in the Indian Sea?
They're in the middle of the Indian Ocean. They've been there for the last 5,000 years, I'm told. We have a written history that goes back 2,000 years. There are 2,000 islands spread across about 400, 500 miles.
What is the population?
350,000. It's huge.
And all 2,000 islands are populated?
No, we only have 200 islands inhabited, and 100 islands where you have beautiful resorts.
And is it independent? How long has it been independent? Was it once a part of another?
Yes, it was once a British colony, and we've been independent since '65.
Now, when I saw the film Island President, which I found fascinating, and raises so many questions and is confounding, also beautiful. I mean, the shots of your homeland, unparalleled, just lovely. But in the film, you in fact were the president of the Maldives. As of February 7th, you are not the president. No. What happened?
The military and the police, of course, didn't like me, and they had a coup. And I've been overthrown since then, since February last month. I am trying to explain to people what happened, especially to governments such as yours, to say that we should have elections as quickly as possible, and democracy should be back on track in the Maldives.
How long had you been president?
3 years and 6 months.
3 years and 6 months?
And the previous dictatorship, I was elected in 2008 after 30 years of Gayoom, who was the dictator then. And he's back again. The old dictatorship is back, and we really are trying to see how we may be able to get the country back on track.
Now, when you, and I'm just now remembering things that I see from, saw in the film, so help me out with the details if I get them screwed up here, but when you went away to college, you went to the UK a bit, and where else?
I went to the college and university in England, and then I came back. As soon as I came back, they arrested me.
They arrested you? You came back and started a magazine, sort of a free speech, anti-government kind of magazine?
Well, we were trying to talk about the truth and human rights abuses that was going on.
And there had been human rights abuses?
Well, I myself have been tortured twice by Gayoom himself.
This is the man who has now manipulated your coup?
Yes, this is the man who has staged the coup and who's got his family and his associates back in power.
Right. And what I inferred from the information I have about you and your islands and the gentleman, not so gentlemanly, the dictator you replaced, they're concerned maybe about money, as everyone always is, less about climate change, more about money, and calling attention to the climate change dangers of your island homeland is going to hurt them financially, and they don't want that to happen. Is that fair to say?
Well, there are certain people who has contributed to the coup because of monetary matters, but by and large, this is Gayoom, the former dictator, coming back again.
And you were one how big was your victory when you were elected president?
I got 54% of the popular vote, and I was fortunate to be elected president in 2008.
Right. Now, here's the map. Once again, as Mr. President told us, this is the Maldives, and that's where they are. And what is unique about them with regard to climate change?
Well, they are such a fragile strip of islands. They just basically stand about 1.5 meters over the sea level. The highest point in the Maldives is about 2 meters. They are very, very precarious, very delicate. Any imbalance to the climate would have serious challenges on the Maldives.
We're now, you and I are sitting at about 70 feet above sea level. And so, yeah, the air is sort of rarefied, so don't overexert yourself. And so when you see the highest part of the islands is 2 meters in feet, is that 8
It's
feet?
about 8 feet.
6 to 8 feet. And with the tsunami, one island was an 8-foot wave came through and completely.
I know a number of islands. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami washed away more than 30 islands. And so, you know, that again brought the message home very clearly to the people of the Maldives.
Now, as I was watching the film, I thought to myself, maybe folks shouldn't have built homes on these islands. But when you tell me that the population has been there in 5,000 years, well, it clearly wasn't a bad idea to build it.
No, it's actually best for birds, but we started...
Better for birds.
Better. But we started living there 2,000 years ago, we are told, and we've had a civilization flourishing there. But of course, after 2,500 years, we had our first multi-party elections in 2008.
Yeah.
And what we have come to that in 3 years, soon after that, we are back again to our old history of 2,500 years.
Now, what we're talking about here, and like I said, is very complicated because we have your life story, which is, you know, it's an odyssey. Then we have the politics involved, and we have the threat to your islands because of the climate change. You think if things aren't reversed or stopped now, 7 more years and you'll have to evacuate all of those islands?
Well, yes, the science is very sorted in climate change. You really have to believe that. I mean, most politicians, of course, haven't got a clue about the science. Please don't ask them about the science. The science is very sorted. If we are unable to do something during the next 7 years, we will be in serious trouble. And what happens to the Maldives today is going to happen to everyone else tomorrow. You know, Manhattan is an island, and I don't think that island is much different from the Maldive Islands.
Well, it's amazing because the Maldives are like as I say, the canary in the coal mine. I mean, when we see what happens to the Maldives, everybody will then say, oh, geez, that's going to happen here in Manhattan, it's going to happen to Venice, in any waterbound community. So what I don't understand, and I guess it's the political process, like when we went to the moon, we went to the moon because we didn't want the Russians to get to the moon. We were worried that the damn Russians would get to the moon first, and that would take all the fun out of the moon. Because we always felt that you know, we owned the moon. The United States, by God, that's our moon. So the president said, well, we don't want the Russians up there, for God's sakes, and so we go to the moon. Well, now this threat is 1,000,000 times more menacing. Why can't people respond to that? Why it's because they know they can't do anything?
No, it's not. Politicians have a tendency just to look at the next election, nothing beyond that. And if the people do not understand the gravity of the issue and try to impress upon the politicians the need for measures against climate change, leaders will only do what their people tell them to do. So I'm afraid the American people are not telling their leaders enough on what to do with climate change.
One of the focuses, sure. I'll tell you what, we'll be right back with Mohamed Nasheed, everybody.
I'm doing my own sleep study. Advil PM or Tylenol PM. The Advil PM guy is spending less time lying awake with annoying aches and pains and more time asleep. Advil PM. The difference is a better night's sleep.
Experience dual action power with Listerine whitening plus restoring rinse. It's the only Listerine that gets teeth 2 shades whiter and makes tooth enamel 2 times stronger. Get dual action Listerine whitening rinse, building whiter, stronger teeth.
At H&R Block, we find money others missed.
It was like a what if. Like, we got money back, but I've always felt there should have been more.
I would want my money back from the government. I would want it back.
We want to get back every dime due.
Don't risk your refund. At H&R Block, we guarantee you won't leave money on the table. Call 1-800-HR-BLOCK or visit hrblock.com and never settle for less.
Jack! I don't know if you know this, but I can hear what you're thinking.
You must continue with the monologue as if nothing has gone wrong.
2 people, 2 bank accounts, 2 apartments, 2 phone bills,
1 social security number.
Someone's an imposter.
A new person of interest. Then, how do you catch a casino killer? Always bet on Jane.
What I'm about to say might sound like a crazy idea.
He said crazy idea.
Oh, was a bad sign? A new mentalist after a new person of interest. CBS Thursday.
Lots of anti-aging products promise beauty miracles, but the chemicals that can end up on your face may not be so beautiful. That's why there's new Puristics Totally Ageless. Powered by a naturally derived collagen builder, Puristics measurably reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles in 100% of women after just 3 weeks. Beautiful, younger looking skin. That's Puristics, the power of pure.